Hello, my name's Coco, and I started a new Korean drama called Can't Lose. And there's two people that are married called Yoon Jae, that's the girl, and Han Woo, sorry for pronunciation, as him. And they supposed to be this married couple that they fell in love real fast. Basically, they fell in love with a month. And each of them have his friends. They have friends that are together, and those friends want a divorce, and each one is going to represent that. And they have their own problems, and while they helping their friends get divorced, they're kind of like realizing maybe divorce is not the answer to everything. So it starts off with Yoon Jae, on the phone, like, "Where you at?" And she's talking to her husband, her boo, Hong Woo, and he's like, "Shoot, I'm at the office still." He's in a train, and what he don't know is that she's at the train station too, and so. While she was looking for him, he's going by. He saw her. And he tried to get past, but this passenger was in his way. And she turned and saw him. And she said, "I thought you was at the office," or something like that, whatever. But so he laughs it off, and they go into his car, and her car is a mess. It don't make no sense. I think she moved one thing for him. She left the seat with piled up with stuff, everything. He just got in. So they was going off to the interview and to be this lawyer to help promote their lawyer, their building, their services. And he didn't want to do it, and the interviewer had asked him something, and he was like, "Shoot, I got fired." And the wife was like, "No, you resigned." And he's like, "Technically, I got fired." And no, remember you wrote a resignation letter? And he's like, "Excuse me." He went to go to the bathroom, apparently, and he found a way to leave. And so the reporter was like, "How did y'all meet?" Well, they had met at this baseball game, and they was over getting they drink on. And I'm like, is that a good idea? I don't go to baseball. I don't do sports. Okay. So I'm like, the sports usually serve beer, at their place. I don't think that's a good combination because people be getting crazy representing their favorite groups and, their favorite team and whatnot. And so the kiss scene comes on, like kiss, 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 and it ends up with this old elderly couple, on there, and they're participating like kiss, 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 and shoot, this old man, she's like, "I'm about to get my kiss on." This old lady said, "I don't know about that," but she took that kiss. She was ready for it, and they going back and they thinking the game was about to start. And next thing you know, they hear everybody say kiss, 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 and they look at they on the screen. They don't know each other. They just see each other in the game. She's having fun, yelling out to the team. And so she kissed him, and he's like, bing, like, that's what he just looked at. That's why she was kissing him. And she was like, "Oh, my name is blah, blah, blah." And, she's like, "Before I'm about to leave, but, I just don't be kissing anybody. Like, what's your name?" So then 1 week later, they found out that they both work as lawyers. I forgot what they did the second week, but by the third week they was like he was like, "I want to open up a law firm." She's like, "Okay, I quit mine." He was like, "You was making a decision like this." She said, "I wouldn't like it in anyway." She said, "I opened up with one with you because his whole thing is that he wants to help people." And he was like, "I'm not doing that unless I'm married." She said, "So you try to say you want to marry me?" And then 1 minute later, boom, they got married, and then bam, there is they got their office called Hope something. I mean, I might got the time thing wrong, but pretty much in a month of them knowing each other, they were married and had a law firm. Well, while they was going home, they mad at each other, and she tried to make him feel better, and I'm like, okay, that's just weird. She's all acting kind because when the interviewer was like, "Oh, he's so nice," and this, she was thinking in her head like, "Psh, lady, why don't you live with him?" But I mean, she didn't say that out loud, but she said it in her head, and she was giving kisses. I'm like, okay, she's finally acting nice with him and whatnot, and then also she just takes off, and I'm like, okay, where is she going? And he comes in there, and she's in there cleaning, and he's like, "Did you have somebody over here?" And she was like, "No," because just like her car, the house was a wreck. He's like, "I've been gone for 4 days. Then you get my notes." He starts saying these environmental laws and stuff like that. I'm like, hold up, what do you think you is? Because I would have been like, look, I graduated as a lawyer just like you did. And finally, bing, she got that memo too. And she was telling him, but she was telling him, he forgot he got off and went to go get his drink on. And so she went to go resume back cleaning, and I thought she was going to clean, but she got mad and kicked the the basket over, and I just assumed she was still cleaning. Well, he's over there getting his drink on. His friend calls. Okay, I don't know. I can't remember the friend's name, but say friend, his friend, let's call him friend A. He was with his friend A drinking. His friend A is going to ask Hongwoo, can I borrow some money? 10 million won. I don't know how much that is in US $8, but all I know is that sounds a lot. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you ain't going to ask your wife about that? I'm sure that's a big amount of money. Even, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I'll let you borrow it. And it goes to her. And while friend A gets on the phone with his wife, and they going on and on and on, blah blah blah, and she like, you blah 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 blah. And he was like, let's get a divorce. He's like, get a divorce. And then you see the woman when she gets off the phone with friend A. Let's call her friend B. Here comes Yoonjae, and she's like, and they start complaining like how these men can get no job, and she wouldn't have to nag if they had a job. And then it goes to the male, and they're going on saying we wouldn't have to nag, but we wouldn't have to do this and do this if they wasn't that and that and that and that. And she both of the friends was like, shoot, y'all look like y'all know I struggle. And they're like, no, shoot, we just lawyers, we just be hearing the other stories. So, and then they take their friends out to karaoke. And so that's how it ends up with Yoonjae, which I'm sorry for pronunciations. I can't remember if I said at the beginning. That's what ends how she ends up representing her friend, and Hongwoo. That's how he ends up with friend A, because and I'm like, I don't know the laws, but first, is that legal? Like, is they for one that they in the same law firm together because they created it. It was called Hope. Two, when that conflict of interest, because one, they husband and wife, and two, they know these people. I mean, I don't know if they know their buddies like that, like homies, but they know each other. But anyway, they done with the karaoke and they come home, and he's like, where you been at? She said, I ain't gotta tell you nothing. So she goes back into her house and comes out. The house is clean. And that's when I know she didn't clean the house last night after he left. And I was like, wow, he was gone for 4 days. And he got up and cleaned. And she went out the thing. She saw the laundry laid out on the thing. I'm like, shoot, this is a good husband. I'm like, for him to be gone for, they say come home to clean. I'm like, at least she could cook. But when she came back in and turned around, bam, he had breakfast ready on the table. And I'm like, that is what I am talking about. He had food on the table. That is what's up. So she was about to start the day, and he was like, shoot, that's in the past. Let's not worry about it. And I think at the same time that day, they got out, and they ready outside. And she realized he cleaned the car too. And I was like, wow. He not only cleaned, because he was out drinking too, doing the karaoke. He actually went outside to clean her car as well. And then she started getting all naggy. And I'm like, oh, no, because he lost their receipts. And so she made him look through their receipts. And then she was like, shoot, bye. Don't ever make no money. He was like, bye, you better make that money. Type of thing. And they going on and showing. I mean, they working hard. And you tell he's a sweetheart. He is. But that's the problem. I know he said he wanted to help people. He did. But he keep taking pro bono cases, and he comes across this elderly man, and he even texts this man to his home saying it was on his way to to his work. And he's going in, he hears this man's story saying that my wife got sick, and like I had to take care of her, and so I just gave the money to my daughter, and she just put the contract in her name. But because of some law, because his daughter ended up getting married and signing a new contract, their contract is invalid. And basically they were saying, dude, you got to get out. They don't care if you elderly or not. You got to go. And he said, what am I going to do? It was just sad. He was just crying. He was like, I'll do it for free. And I'm like, oh, here he goes again. Not only was, first you didn't ask your wife about the 10 million won. Could you, give that. You haven't taken another pro bono case. And his wife finds out, and she is like, no. And so he's over there getting mad. when she says, before she finds out, the elderly man gave him like some 3 hot potatoes that he cooked. And when she found out, he came in and she like and she was already going off. You know what I'm saying? She was going no, 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 no. He was like, here, take a potato, and she was going no, no. And he's like, does it taste good? She's like, yes. He's like, that's the only thing the elderly man can afford. The woman, like, he was living in the house. She put that potato down and she walked out. So he ends up going, you know, and the thing is, they both can't lose. They got the personality of they gotta win, you know, so they don't want to give in to each other and whatnot. So they go their separate ways. He's going to the gym to run off steam, and there's another friend of his, and he's like, you must got to fight with your wife. And then she's at the bar getting her drink on. And you could tell, I don't know, the bar dude, I just got a feeling that he's liking her, and I'm like, I think she's talking about her married life, though. She knows she's going about, I should be living by myself, you're going to be this way. And, so she goes home, and she got her stuff again, she just throwing her stuff out on the ground, and I'm like, okay, he just cleaned up. And so he's picking it up, and he goes to her, and he smells her breath like, ugh. And he realized she's been drinking. She's over her asleep. And when he bends down to pick her up, she just went, slapped him. And he was like, you know what? And he looked down and like, she must be asleep. And he still picked her up. And he put her down in bed. And she was like, that was nice. And then she's like, she's like, yes, man. She's turning her head. Oh, there he was against the thing. And that's when I realized she slept him on purpose. She went to sleep. She just wanted him to carry her into bed. He's like, I can't take this abuse. So the next day when she wakes up again, bam, he has breakfast. Her stomach, first her stomach was bothering her because she got her drink on, and she was going to the water bottle, and he was like already like he knew she wasn't really asleep. Like, she already knew when he was looking at her, it was like a mental telepathic thing, like get a cup, because it bugs him that she just opens up the water bottle and drinks from it without putting the cup. She was like, yeah, right. She got, drunk her water, and she was gonna like get her nose up like, I'm not gonna eat your food. And he's like, don't betray. Like, he said, I know your stomach's hurting. So she go over and eat, and she's like digging in the rice, and there is the potato. So she gets up mad, and then they go out to the car. He's like, and bam, gets in. She's like, I don't like you drive. He's like, oh, I'll drive because, he's trying to get on her good side. And so he's being nice, and she is like, she remembers when they first got married, when they first were dating, and what he did. She's like, don't you even try it. So he was like, and so when they was going into work, there was this like poor kind of lady. This poor lady, like, looking, and she calls her, and she's like, she calls Yoon Jae, and Yoon Jae said, we severed all contacts. I didn't know what was going on. And he shows this older lady working in her thing, and here comes this dressed nice elderly lady looking around and just making all these comments. And next thing you know, these two are going at blows. I'm like, why are these two elderly ladies fighting? So later, then it goes to the scene of Yoon Jae coming home, and she get a ring, and she's like, oh, mother, and she's like, I'm still at the office, and so is what's his name, Hong-woo. And she said, well, I can see you. And she's looking, and there's the rich old lady. And she tried to get her from going, because, she lied. She done said that this, and come to find out, it's not her mother, it's her husband's mother. And so they still going to house. She's like, this hurt. And she's like texting him, like, where you at? And I'm like, okay, they teaming, they might get on each other's nerves. You know what I'm saying? But she's saying, like, you need to get out. Your mama's here. But she had pressed the wrong button because she was trying to give him enough time to, get out. But unfortunately, the wrong button that she pressed is when her husband was coming down the stairs. And so his mother saw him and said, y'all must be very important for y'all to be lying like this. And, they kept lying. So, she's just tired. And the mom's like, I want to buy another building. And he's like, no, I don't got time for this. He's like, you got 49. He go back into his, office. And she said, okay, how about you, Jay? How about you help me? And she's like, how much you want to do with lawyer fees? And she said, what, you gonna charge me? And I'm thinking, shoot, your son ain't contributing. He's not. You might as well pay. She said, that's what she was like saying on her breath, shoot. That's what people told me about marrying a successful woman, having a successful daughter-in-law or daughter. And she's like, oh, you trying to call me successful? She tried to, and she gets up and leaves and blah, blah, blah. And so she goes to her husband and she's like, oh, it's so nice. It's been so long that you, like stood up for me. She gave him a kiss. He was like, shoot, that's all I get. And shoot, they was about to get it on. But she wasn't trying to birth no babies. She was like, there's no protection. She was like, forget it, we can have kids. And she's like, no. She said the business ain't even so they're like fighting off the bid. He fight off. He was like, forget it. It just goes off he goes off back to make this proposal that he was originally working on anyway. And so she gets up and she sees here in the house, he has this proposal of, that he's going to win to show her that she's going to help him with this elderly lady because he really can't take the pro bono case, even though he said yes. It ain't happening unless she says yes. So she's like, oh, today's our anniversary. And so when she was coming to the office, she sees the elderly man, the daughter that got married in the contract being void, talking to the dude. She's like, I don't want my father to go through this again. And I'm thinking, hold up, wait a minute. If you want your daddy to go through this, yeah, he's 80 and old and whatnot, then why don't he move in with your family? If he can't move in with your husband, you don't need to be complaining that he's going to court. And she's like, oh, you can, and she finally caved in and said she's basically saying, shoot, my boo who got it. It's just so funny because one of the workers in there was like going on about him. And she's like, yeah, shoot, he is his way. Yeah. And then she was like, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Even though her husband get on her last nerve, she ain't let nobody else talk to him any kind of way, funky, any other type of way. And so they said, yeah, he's turning around and happy. And he was so excited that he get to, to do the case. And so he was later, I guess he was going to go tell the elderly man that he was going to help his case. And she was there and she get a call saying she needed this money. I thought it just said she needed $5,000. And she went into his office to look at his bank account. And she said, shoot, he got a lot up in his savings account. And then she's going down. And shoot, it's in she's just in all these negatives. And that's when she saw that $10 million wire. So he knew where she was up in the thing. All she do was had to turn her head. He was like, shoot, he jumped. Because he knew what's up. She was like, where is you spending this money? He's like, invested in stock. She's like, I'm over here making money and you spending it. And he still didn't tell her that he gave that money to his friend. I don't even know if they realized that they each are friends lawyers at this point. And she was just like hitting him. She's like, he's like, okay. He's like, I give you the money. She's basically taking out his wallet like here, and just threw his wallet back at him. And she was like, you gonna put that money in the account? First he asked her like how much, and she was like $2,500. His eyes went like shoot. I said I was gonna help, but I was gonna help out that much. It was just funny to look on his face, and he was like, maybe I should have said yes. But he does, and he gives he said, I'm gonna go there. He goes to the bank and he's getting the money alone. And then he realized, he's like, what the beep? And they up right back at the thing. And he's really serious now. And he's like, why does it say on here that we ain't registered? She hadn't registered them as marriage. And so that's how the freaking episode is. Like, I was like, what? It is with him looking at her like, who is you? Like, and she's just looking like, He's waiting for her answer why she's registered. And what's so funny is that he helps everybody else. I mean, he's nice. I mean, Even though, shoot, he ain't taking on these pro bono cases and everything whatnot. I mean, shoot, he cleans. Even if he complains, who cares? He cleaned it. He's cooking. You know, he's a sweetheart, nice, but he's too nice to everybody else. And I mean, that's fine, but he gotta realize his mother might be rich and whatever, not, but you know, that's not her law for him. It's, you know, his. And you know, even though they're supposed to be having troubles, the same, like, you know, look he gave her when she gave the kids, like, you could tell, like, he finds her fascinating. And it sucked that on their first year that they found out, that he finds out that she didn't even register to be married. I don't even want to know well, I guess I find out what her reason is in episode 2. But you could tell, like, she gets on his nerves, but at the same time, like I said, he just finds her fascinating. It's just like, anything she does, it's like, you know, whoa. So, I mean, he can't be that mad at her. And for them to, like, supposedly be mismatched, like the synopsis says, they know each other. They do. So that is all I have to say, and we'll see what happens in the second episode. Like I said, it was good, and you know, it was funny, it was entertaining, and even though they was going over a little bit of legal stuff, I mean, it wasn't like something like, you know, like, ooh, you know, it wouldn't put you to sleep. You know, it was entertaining, and they work well together. So I'm hoping she has a very good reason, and I wonder, even after a year, can you get your license together? It's kind of messed up. I know I said it before, but yeah, that's it.